G'day everyone, I am Lucas from the AGExp show, where we talk games, talk smack, and occasionally scream into the void when developers charge extra just to see how the damn story ends. Yep, today we're looking at 10 games that locked their endings behind a paywall. Like finishing a movie only to find that the last scene has been sold off to Netflix. Some of these are cliffhangers, some just stop, and the others feel like developers got halfway through writing and thought, nah, look, we'll patch it later for 30 bucks. Actually, I should let the developers off the hook. They're not usually the scumbags. It's more the publishers that do this. So let's dive into the games that made us pay to play, then pay again to understand what the hell was it that we just played. Number 10, Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 was in development longer than some of us have had our mortgages. Over 10 years of trailers, delays, and title changes, and what we got was a boy band road trip with more potholes than the M5. At first glance, it's a decent adventure, beautiful environments, epic summons, and combat that doesn't put you to sleep. But dig deeper and you'll realise this thing is stitched together like a budget Frankenstein's monster. Huge story gaps, off-screen betrayals, and characters vanishing mid-plot. And how do you find out what actually happened during those events? You pay $22.95 per DLC episode to find out what your own party members were doing off camera. That's like watching Lord of the Rings and finding out that you have to buy the Samwise scenes separately. There were even more DLCs planned though, including one to finish Aranea's story and another to rewrite the ending, but Square Enix just cancelled them all and Moon walked out like nothing happened. Classy. Number 9, Prince of Persia 2008. Ubisoft rebooted Prince of Persia in 2008 with gorgeous visuals, fluid movement, and a chill companion named Elika. Or is that Elika? Elika? Whatever her name was, and she saves you every time that you suck at the platforming. You go through the entire game cleansing corruption and saving the world, only for the prince to undo literally everything in the final 5 minutes because he caught feelings. And then, nothing. The screen fades to black.
What is one grain of sand?
Want to know what happens next? Well, that'll be $15 for the epilogue DLC. It's not a bonus level, it's not a side quest, it's the actual continuation of the story. Ubisoft tried to sell it as a separate artistic vision. Translation, we found another place to stick the credit card machine. This isn't the last time you'll hear from Ubisoft in this video. Number 8, Asura's Wrath. This one is straight up criminal. It's basically a playable anime. One where you get to uppercut a god the size of Jupiter and scream your way through boss fights like a very angry, very bald Kratos on meth. The game builds up to a massive multi-deity climax, and then it hits you with the words, "To be continued." To see the real ending, the final battle with the Chakravartin, the literal god of everything, well, you have to buy the Part 4 Nirvana DLC. That's another $10 to $15 depending on where you're playing it. Without it, the game just stops mid-scream, like someone cut the cable during your rage quit. And look, Capcom's not the worst, however, they're not doing real good here. But this is like renting a movie, watching 90% of it, and then getting charged for the last 5 minutes where the plot actually resolves. Yeah, nah. Number 7, Dead Rising 4. Frank West is back, and older, and somehow even more sarcastic. You fight through waves of zombies, make ridiculous weapons, and just when things start getting juicy, Frank gets overwhelmed and dies. Game over.
Keep your eye on the prize.
Frank!
But don't worry, he might not actually be dead. You just have to buy the Frank Rising DLC for another 12 bucks. And this will help you find out what actually happened. Oh, and that DLC also features a mutated Frank West with new powers. You know, the kind of major twist that you'd expect to be in the actual game that you already paid for. This is Capcom proving that they do real well selling you a cheeseburger and charging you extra for the meat. Number 6. Mass Effect 3. Now this one is heartbreaking. Mass Effect 3 gave us over 100 hours of choices, romance, heartbreak, and intergalactic politics. And it all ended with a choose your own color space detonation. The backlash was so bad that BioWare had to release the extended cut DLC to patch in the actual consequences of your choices. Thankfully, this one was free, but it did come months later, and it only existed because fans practically set fire to the forums. Imagine selling someone a wedding cake and delivering it with one layer missing and icing on it that just says, "Oops." Yeah, thanks for that. Number 5. The Callisto Protocol. Now this one's fresh for me, and it's a rough one. The Callisto Protocol came out swinging as the next-gen Dead Space. Creepy prison? Check. Mutant horrors? Check. Horrible ending that just stops mid-sentence? Also check.
Jacob, there might be a way out after all.
Reactor 4 temporary savings activated.
But I'm going to need your help.
To find out what happens next though, and whether Jacob lives or dies, you have to pay $20 for the final transmission DLC. And yes, it includes critical lore and the actual game's ending. Bonus insult for this one, Striking Distance laid off their devs just days after the game launched. Many of whom crunched to get the game out in time, so the people who made the ending didn't even get to stay employed to see it as the DLC. Number 4. Destiny 2. Bungie basically invented the buy now, finish later model. Destiny 2 is less of a game and more of a subscription-based story time with light machine guns. The base campaign sets up an epic war between light and darkness, but the actual resolution, that's hidden across $60 to $100 expansions. These are released annually and sometimes removed from the game entirely. You can literally pay for story content and then watch it get vaulted like your ex's Instagram after a breakup. Number 3. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. Kojima made a brilliant open world stealth game that lets you Fulton enemies into space. It's tight, it's stylish, and it's clearly unfinished. The real final chapter, Chapter 51, Kingdom of the Flies, was never released in-game. You could only watch it if you bought the $150 Collector's Edition Blu-ray. This wasn't DLC, it was straight up chopped out of the game because Konami had beef with Kojima, and somehow we're the ones who got punished for their office drama. Number 2. Dragon Age Inquisition Trespasser DLC. You finish Inquisition, save the world, and think, well, that was neat. But what happened to the Inquisition? What's Solus really planning? Is there even a sequel for this? All of that, and I mean literally all of it, is in the Trespasser DLC. Another $20 and suddenly the fog lifts. It's a crucial epilogue, and without it, you don't just miss an ending, you miss the entire setup for the next game. Without Trespasser, Dragon Age 4 opens up like someone switched the channel on you during the credits. Number 1. Assassin's Creed Valhalla: Dawn of Ragnarok. You finish Valhalla after 200 hours of raiding, pillaging, and listening to Ivor's gravelly voice. And then the myth arc, the whole Odin story, it just kind of fizzles out. Unless, of course, you spend $60 on the Dawn of Ragnarok expansion. Then, and only then, do you get to finish the mythological narrative that started back in Assassin's Creed Origins. Ubisoft called it their most ambitious expansion ever. And yeah, I'd agree with that. It's very ambitious to sell an ending like it's a season pass cliffhanger from 2010. And there you go, 10 games that left us hanging harder than a cheap washing line. If you've ever finished a game and thought, wait, was that it? The chances are the real ending is hiding behind a paywall somewhere, flipping you off in glorious 4K. Hit like if you've ever been DLC scammed, drop a comment with your worst offender, and make sure to subscribe for more gaming rants, reviews, and roasted publisher tactics right here on the AGExp Show. I'm Lucas, and if this video had a real ending, it'd be $4.99 extra. However, it's not. So until next time, I will see ya!